Hey, how's it going, YouTube? This is Killer J for Life. This what I'm holding right now is my Type 56 Norenko SKS. It is Chinese made. It fires a 7.62 by 3.9 cartridge, the same round that the AK fires. A lot of you are gonna probably know this rifle or know of this rifle or know somebody that shot this rifle because it's developed a reputation. Well, it's developed a reputation as a cheap man's rifle or as a cheap man's deer rifle. And I could honestly say, if I was in the lower 48, or if I was in, like, for instance, Delaware or Pennsylvania or New Jersey or Idaho, I would definitely use this to go deer hunting. The 7.62 by 3.9 is an adequate deer rifle. Is an adequate cartridge for deer. Hell, it's even an adequate cartridge for wild boar. However, this is not a hunting rifle for me. This, for me, would be my go-to rifle. And the reason this would be my go-to rifle, because I can already hear the trolls in the background now. Why is it going to be your go-to rifle? You should have an AR or an AK. I can't afford an AR or an AK. I paid, I want to say, $250 for this rifle. Whereas an AK, from what I've seen up here in Alaska, is, from what I've seen, an AK pistol without a grip, or not without a grip, but without a buttstock. Without a buttstock, that would cost me at least $800 to $1,000, and that's on the cheaper end. Okay, so for me, it was cheaper and it was a better investment for me to use this. Okay, well, on to this rifle. Somebody out there is going to notice the bayonet. Yes, this is the original bayonet. And the reason I know this was the original bayonet is because the markings, or not markings, but the serial number on this rifle. The serial number on this rifle, I've double checked it, rechecked it, got other people to check it out for me. This rifle, even though it was made by the Chinese, it was made using Russian or Soviet parts, if you will, and they were actually made in front of the Russians. Pretty much the Russians were supervising Chinese while they were making this. It was during an arms trade that happened. I would like to say it happened in the 50s. I might be wrong. My dates might be a little bit skewed up, but I do know that this rifle has Russian parts on it. That's why it has the bladed bayonet. Well, about this rifle in itself. Has a wooden stock, obviously. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that. Has a steel butt plate. Inside here's the cleaning kit. No, I did not get a cleaning kit with this rifle. At the time, I did not know I was supposed to get a cleaning kit with this rifle. So that was a little upsetting when I found out I was supposed to get a cleaning kit, but it's okay. I ended up just buying a actual cleaning kit, a huge cleaning kit filled with pretty much anything I would ever need to clean any of my weapons. So this rifle itself is very accurate. I've taken it out to the range multiple times. I'm able to hit a human-sized target at 200 yards with this rifle with iron sights. I know some of you are going to make fun of me for that because you're going to say, oh, I can do sub-MOA at 400 yards. Congratulations. I'm not that good. I'm not. I'm an average Joe Schmo who only gets to go to the range maybe once every couple weeks if I'm lucky. Like I said, my schedule is kind of tight. I'm working 60-plus hours a work week. So, before anybody sits here and makes fun of me, I'm sorry my shooting isn't up to par with you guys, with people out there who get some of my way at 400 yards. I'm just not that great of a shot. I'm good enough to know, I'm smart enough to know when I'm bested by somebody better than me. And all you who can do it sub-MMA groups, fantastic. I hope to God when shit hits the fan, I'm with you. Anyways, with this rifle. This rifle is not a hunter for me. Whereas my Remington 770 and my Mosin, I'm going to say my Mosin's gonna be a hunter just because that's what I kind of had in mind when I bought it. Now, not so much, but when I bought it, yes. So, anyways, this is not a hunter for me. This rifle right here is going to be a defense/offense rifle. I don't know, I'm not going to say it's going to be a SHTF rifle. I'm not going to say anything along those lines. All I know is if I grab this rifle, I feel adequately defended with that. I feel like I can defend myself and my family. That's all that I need to do. Okay? So anyways, this rifle, I bought it at a gun show. I bought it secondhand. I believe I paid $250 for this rifle, which for most of you out there, you're going to be like, "Oh, wow, you got a great deal." Yeah, I know. But at the time, I didn't realize that. I tried to talk him down. and I actually was relatively successful at talking him down because originally he wanted $4. So I talked him down to $250. This rifle, to my knowledge, has all the correct serial numbers and markings. I'm not an SKS expert. I never have been. I never have claimed to be an SKS expert. But what I can tell you about this SKS is that this SKS is kind of heavy. Anybody out there who's ever held a Mosin or a Mauser or a Gewehr or a Swiss K31, you're going to realize surplus rifles are kind of heavy. And before anybody asks, no, I don't have any of those rifles. I wish. I've had the wonderful opportunity to shoot those rifles because I have friends who have those rifles. But myself, I've never actually owned, and I don't own any of those rifles. Would I want to? Yes. Will I eventually? Hopefully, I'm planning on it. Another rifle I want is Lee Enfield SMLE. Love that rifle. Beautiful rifle. Anyways, back to my SKS. This rifle is kind of heavy. The recoil that this rifle has isn't a lot. So I would recommend this rifle if you're gonna get an SKS for somebody. I would recommend getting it for a weaker spouse, whether that's male, female, doesn't matter. This rifle is, in my opinion, would be a very good starting rifle. The recoil isn't a lot. If you can lift this rifle, I guarantee you can run around with a Remington 700 or a Remington 7070 or any type of other rifle. If you can shoot this rifle accurately, you can pretty much. My idea is that you can probably hit any rifle, or you can probably hit or shoot any rifle accurately. This rifle, when I got it, I actually was kind of pleased when I got it because I wasn't expecting to get this good looking of a rifle for so cheap. The one thing about this rifle is I'm not sure if those are actual meters, or I'm not sure if those are meters, or I'm not sure if they're, I want to say Arshix. I hope somebody out there can tell me. They don't seem to be, my guess is they're meters, 100 meter mark, 200 meters, and it looks like it goes all the way up to 1,000. Again, like I said, I'm not any type of marksman by any means. I mean, I can hit targets that are relatively decent out there, like I said, 200 yards, 300 yards at the most. But 1,000 meters for me seems like it's a pretty far off shot with this rifle. That would even be a far off shot for my 770 or my Mosin, and those have a bigger cartridge. However, what I can say is this rifle would be a good rifle for if you have to arm a lot of people. My recommendation is get a whole bunch of these or get a whole bunch of Mosins. They're cheaper, their ammo is relatively affordable, there's a whole lot of ammo out there, and you could just go to town. You want to get a whole bunch of these, get a whole bunch of Chinese chest rigs, and you'll be set, in my opinion. Then again, I have a different school of thought on these types of matters. There's not a whole lot more I can say about this rifle, other than it does have a direct impingement gas system. Love this rifle. I love that system, and the reason I love it is because a lot of you out there are familiar with the AR-15 platform of rifle. It's a fantastic rifle. It works like a charm when it's oiled, when it's cleaned regularly. And before anybody goes out there and says I said it's unreliable, I didn't. The AR-15 or the M16, M4, whatever type of M4 platform you want to call it, they work wonderfully. They work wonderfully. They're accurate. They're easy to shoot. They're easy to learn. For instance, the controls, the safety they're awesome. Okay. However, it is dirty because it uses gas to blow back into the actual bolt assembly. The gas moves the bolt, whereas this uses a piston that hits the bolt, and that's what actually moves that's what actually moves this lever right here. Like I said, if you're gonna get if you're looking into getting an SKS, my recommendation is, if you're gonna get an SKS, make sure that, first off, make sure you can open the bolt. Okay. When you get an SKS, my recommendation is you ask the person if you can disassemble it. Make sure that it actually has moving parts inside, and it isn't just some type of shitty fucking beat it into the ground fucking shell of a SKS that barely works. Another recommendation I have for you is, if you're gonna get an SKS, or if you really want an SKS, my recommendation is, my opinion, go with a Norinco. And the reason I say go with a Norinco is because they're cheap, they're affordable, and you can probably get 2 or 3 of these to 1 AR or 1 AK. Now, AKs do tend to run a little bit cheaper, and I understand that. But again, if you're trying to arm a lot of people, this might be the way to go. Or if you don't want to get a shit ton of these, like 4 or 5, get like 2 or 3. If your group has like 10 people, get like 2 or 3, and make these people with these the designated marksmen of your group, the ones who can reach out and touch accurately at X amount of yards, whereas the AK, you only want the AK people to reach out and touch accurately from 1 to 2. Make this like 300 or 400 yards. That would be feasible. There's not a whole lot more I can say about this rifle, other than it's a really good buy. If you want an SKS, get it now. The SKS reserves that we had once in the US, they're drying up. Now, I know in Canada, from what I've heard, from what I've researched, they're rather cheap still. In Canada, you can get SKSs for rather cheap. So if you're in Canada, or if you're in the US, or if you're anywhere that you can own one of these, my recommendation is get it. It's just a fun gun. I go out to the range. If I go out to the range with this, and I can only go out there with 100 rounds. Okay, I know 100 rounds. Doesn't seem like a lot, but I can have fun all day. Just fire 1 or 2 shots. I love this rifle. And before anybody asks, no, I'm not going to mod it. And the reason I'm not going to mod it is not because I'm a purist, just because it's the second type of cool for me. I love when I pick up this rifle, I love knowing that this rifle was a piece of history somewhere. This rifle has been a part of history somewhere. I don't know where. I probably never will. But knowing that this rifle was a part of history for me is one of those really awesome facts about it. And also, this is, in my opinion, this is a good conversation starter. Like, this is a rifle that if I walked into your house and I saw it on the wall, I would be like, damn, this guy knows exactly what the fuck he's doing. He's doing everything right. And the reason I would say that is because the SKS, it gets a bad rap from a lot of people, but it's cheap, it's affordable. As of 2014, everything can change. For all I know, in a couple years, SKSs might not be anymore in the U.S. Like at least buying new or new-ish. But this rifle, these rifles they're cheap. Or they're cheaper than ARs, and they're cheaper than AKs. They fire the same round as the AK. And if you want to arm more than one person, I would recommend getting getting some of these, getting Mosins, getting some other type of military surplus. Just because they are affordable, and you can run a lot. I've personally myself, I've ran 500 to 1,000 rounds through this. I've had this since last, I'm going to say, October. That's a lot of rounds. And I haven't had one jam. I haven't had one misfire. I haven't had one failure to feed. This rifle has gone through the gauntlet for me. At least for me it has. Whereas others out there might say, oh, 1,000 rounds, that's nothing. For me, that's something. Because this rifle was the first rifle I actually hit. This rifle was the first firearm I have that actually hit 1,000 rounds. So for me, it's a nostalgic thing too. This rifle is fantastic. I love this rifle. I love everything about it. I really can't really tell you enough how much this rifle has surprised me, because I expected this rifle to be a piece of junk, and I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. Well, I'm done rambling. I'm sorry if I'm sorry I'm long-winded. Again, I'm just getting into this YouTube thing. Again, leave comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me what tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I did right. Give me good criticism, bad criticism. I don't care. I would prefer good criticism or some type of helpful criticism, whereas, hey, you didn't tell this about the rifle, or hey, could you go into more detail about this next time you do a gun review, whereas your review sucks. Thanks. This is Killer J for Life, signing out. And I will be back in a second with my Remington 870. Have a good day, YouTube.